was the end of that video?
Yeah.
It's pretty short. Well, yeah, because it was only a fucking clip of it.
Mm-hmm.
She didn't release the whole thing.
Mm-hmm. Nia Malika Henderson.
Oh yeah, just go down the list. Just do them one at a time. Do them all.
Okay. Van Johnson. Have we eaten today?
Not since Camp Washington Chili.
When did we go there?
Before work.
I don't think I ate all my food. I don't know where it is.
That's not good. Well, if you need us to, I was feeling a little bit hungry too, so we could go home and have a snack or something.
We don't have any food at home.
Okay. Well, I'll get a grub of it then.
We live.
I mean, I guess we could make spaghetti or something if we wanted to, but I don't know if we should do that. With how much it would time it would cost, but
I'll just get a Grubhub. I think that would cost us less. Just whatever latest shit Van Jones said on CNN.
Southern Environmental Legislators Conference.
Hello, this is Van Jones. I'm one of the founders of Green for All and the Dream Corps.
Yeah.
Political. Scroll down until you see something.
Hi, everybody. To talk about all of this, there's a lot to discuss. I've got two great people with me. S.E. Cupp, who is a CNN political commentator. You see her there in the middle of your screen. And also Van Jones, who, of course, everybody knows. Van Jones is somebody who has been with us for some time here at CNN. He's the founder of Dream Corps. And also a CNN host. And so all two of you, thanks very much for being with us. And to all of the folks who are tuning in to this webcast, we're going to try to get to your questions a little bit later on. And so pardon the long wind up there, Essie and Van, but wanted to set the table as best as I could. Let me go to you first, Essie, because I know over the years you've been a strong supporter of firearm ownership, of gun rights. But maybe you could tell us about whether or not your views on this issue have changed.
And so I want to put down our politics. I want to put down partisanship and special interests. That we start talking differently about guns. I'm willing to go first. I no longer need to be right to have these conversations.
Absolutely, and Van Jones, let me turn to you with that, because we've had this discussion so many times. I mean, Essie mentioned the Newtown massacre. That one is the one I always come back to. It just hits me right in my gut when I think about it. Those poor little kids who were slaughtered in that mass shooting. But we've had one of these major, which should be paradigm shifting events in this country, but they're not. But these major news events where somebody goes in, shoots up a school like Parkland, shoots up a movie theater like we saw in Colorado, and in this case in Buffalo, shoots up a supermarket and targeting African American shoppers. I just want to know where you are on all of this, Van. We have all of this extra time to have a freewheeling discussion about it. I'll tell you that one of the very first
Far from us. And I think that not only is that disabling the so-called political class, I think that's also the lack of community, lack of trust, lack of respect is also driving some of the violence. And so the people who are supposed to be solving the problem are being swept out to sea by the same forces that are causing the problem. And so I just want to say I really appreciate SC. And I think that she actually probably represents going on. So there now is an intellectual permission structure to act out some of this.
$267 plots or attacks and 91 fatalities.
Okay, listen to this. So, the replacement theory. I'm trying to find, because someone on the video we were just watching, no, not someone, Van Jones, the person who I looked up, I'm supposed to be looking up, just accused Tucker Carlson of believing in defending the replacement theory, or believing in it, or something along those lines. I'll have to go back to the video to see if he exactly how he was connecting him to it, but he was connecting him to it.
Right.
And so I was trying to figure
Already burned. There's a new study of those folks charged in the Capitol attack found that fear of the Great Replacement may have been a prime driver, including that replacement voters from the third world isn't racial, but just to level set, let's see who's been chanting about replacement and racial violence. In fact, a new analysis by the Washington Post shows that since 2015, right-wing extremists have been involved in 267 plots or attacks and 91 fatalities. Now, for Tucker, these facts might not matter. After all, Fox News lawyers argued that no one expects him to tell the truth. But let's give him the benefit of the doubt. Now, for Tucker, these facts might not matter. After all, Fox News lawyers
say that no one expects Tucker Carlson to tell the truth.
Because, presumably because he has an entertainment show on television where he gives his opinion about things, and also in some information too.
So that means he won't tell the truth, and no one should expect him to.
No, it means he's not legally required to tell the truth, just like everyone else isn't legally required to tell the truth. So people can't sue his ass if he gets something wrong by claiming that he lied.
So they're
even if he does.
So they're saying no one should expect him to tell the truth, just like he shouldn't expect anyone to tell the truth.
Or at least they can't hold him legally responsible if they somehow did prove that he lied about something.
they're importing a brand new electorate. Why should I sit back and take that? The power that I have as an American guaranteed at birth is one man, one vote, and they're diluting it.
Okay, there's a lot to work with there. First, America did not begin by guaranteeing one man, one vote. First, only white male property owners could vote. Black men got the vote with the 15th Amendment after the Civil War, a move denounced by some as a political power grab designed to make whites a minority in the South. Women, of course, didn't get the vote until 100 years ago. Some men argued it would dilute the amendment after the Civil War, a move denounced by some as a political power grab designed to make whites a minority in the South. Women, of course, didn't get the vote until 100 years ago. Some men argued it would dilute the power of their votes and lead to societal decline. Ward's one person, one vote wasn't codified until the Supreme Court did it in 1964 during the Civil Rights Movement. That's when the infamous Alabama governor, George Wallace, gave a speech that might sound familiar to some viewers of Fox News. Here's what he said, quote, "I believe the American people have been pushed around long enough and that they, like you and I, are fed up with the power of their votes and lead to societal decline." Ward's one person, one vote wasn't codified until the Supreme Court governor, George Wallace, gave a speech that might sound familiar to some viewers of Fox News. Here's what he said, quote, "I believe the American people have been pushed around long enough and that they, like you and I, are fed up with the continuing trend toward a socialist state. We must not be misled by left-wing incompetent news media that day after day feed us a diet of fantasy, telling us we're bigots, racists, and hate mongers, oppose the destruction of the Constitution and our nation." It's been said that history doesn't repeat, but sometimes it rhymes. This isn't about the past. Tucker's fanning the flames of a fire that is already burning. Because a new study of those folks charged in the Capitol attack found that fear of the Great Replacement may have been a prime driver, including that replacement theory might help explain why such a high percentage of riders hail from counties with fast-rising non-white populations. Tucker Carlson isn't playing a bigot. He's playing to his base. And that's your reality check.
Yeah, I also don't think he's playing anything. I think he is. I just think he's telling us exactly what side he's chosen here, and I don't think it's an act at all at this point.
I mean, the phrase, if you say it's not about the money, it's about the money. You say it isn't about race, it's often about race.
All right, John, appreciate it. Thank you very much.
So what I'm gathering is the extent that Tucker Carlson agrees with the whole white replacement theory thing is he doesn't want the people from third world countries to come to America because Democrats want them to come and give them more votes, which is understandable. because he doesn't want democratic policy to be passed more than it should be in this country. He wants the country's views, the policy in the country to emulate the views of the people who live in the country, not people who are brought in just to emulate the views of Democrats.
To be fair, they're not brought in just to emulate the views of Democrats. They're primarily brought in to enhance their lives.
The Democrats' lives?
No, the immigrants' lives.
Okay, well, the way to do that is usually with pretty conservative policy, not Democrat.
No, just being in the country, period, it usually vastly enhances your life if you're from a third world country.
Okay, that's the reason they come here, not the reason that Democrats want to bring them here. Right?
It's their stated reason for bringing them here.
That's not what Tucker Carlson believes.
Well, obviously he doesn't believe they're telling the truth.
Uh-huh. And I'm more inclined to believe that they are bring them here because they want the vote to go in their favor. I don't put that past them.
I think they care about helping the people, and they want people to vote for them, and they just see it as a win-win.
Everyone cares about people. Everyone wants to save the world and wants no one to be hungry. But leftists and liberals commonly have the belief or the feeling that immigration law in general is just unfair and illogical. That national borders are imaginary things that don't deserve respect. Yeah, I know that. Doesn't change the fact that I believe that the people who are sitting up at the top mostly are concerned with having the vote go in their favor than saving the world. It's mostly the people in the middle and the bottom who are more concerned with that than having the vote go in their favor.
Correct. But just the way that they argue that the people should be allowed to be here is by talking about how much it would improve those people's lives to come to the country.
Tucker Carlson is like, I don't care about that. I don't want my vote to get changed, or I don't want my vote to be diluted.
No, he's saying I care about that, but it's just not a good enough reason to dilute my vote as much as you're trying to do.
Well, it really depends on where they're coming from.
Well, yeah, but that's already, we already recognize differences between where people are coming from in the current immigration law.
So he's saying that people who are coming from war-torn countries, that's not a good enough reason.
It's a good enough reason unless there are also, I don't know exactly what he's saying, so don't ask me what he thinks about this. But I would say that it's a good enough reason unless there are also other reasons why bringing in a bunch of people from that country would be bad. Which oftentimes it is the case in a situation where you have a war-torn country. Not all the time, but often. Like in the case of Muslim refugees, for example, where it's a bunch of people that fucking believe in Sharia law.
What are we doing here?
Waiting for a delivery. We don't have one because we decided we needed a Grubhub. PolitiFact is a Democrat organization.
Yeah, I know that.
Just checking.
Permission structure to act out. Idea that you now have a theory that justifies liquidation events, massacres, this white replacement theory, and that white replacement theory is coming out of the mouths of elected officials. It's coming out of the mouths of people like Tucker Carlson and others who have big platforms. it's coming at people out of their cell phones because of these algorithms and all of those conversations going on. So there now is an intellectual permission structure to act out some of this emotional pain against people who are not white, and there's a legal infrastructure to let you go get a gun to do it. That is scary stuff, and I think it's worthy of a new conversation. I will say that for me, why is the concern in the country now critical race theory? I haven't seen any critical race theory proponents grabbing guns and shooting up people. I haven't seen any critical race theory